Good morning, welcome to yoga. Today I'm going to be doing a flow that focuses on mobility, which is one of the main reasons why I practice yoga, because I see people who become very stiff and immobile, and that really becomes a problem as you age. So let's start out. Just a second, I'm going to take my shoes off here. And we're going to sit on our mats. I have a strap that I'm going to use a little bit today, but you don't need a strap. You can use a towel, or often the belt of a bathrobe works really well as a strap, or just a regular belt. All right, let's start out just working with the neck. And I don't want you to do like kind of like flash dance all the way around. We're just doing like a little circle here with the neck. We don't want to hyperextend because the neck is so fragile. And other direction. Again, not stretching or straining too much, just a more natural motion. And let's turn from side to side now. So look to the right, so then to the left. And your range of motion might be different than mine. Don't force it. Don't try to make your head turn any farther than just the natural arc that you have here. Now I'm just going to listen to my right shoulder here. And now over to the left. And I'm just going to circle around here. Start to engage those deeper yoga breaths. If you notice that you're breathing kind of shallow, just bring it deeper into the belly region. And other direction. Now let's do some cat and cow stretches from a seated position. If this crisscross applesauce isn't comfortable, you can always change your position. I'm holding onto the knees here. I'm going to lean forward, look up as I inhale, and then exhale round. Keep going. Just following your breath. Allowing it to lead and guide you. Twist over, lifting the right hand up to the left hand side. stretch up and back with this arm. And now let's twist over to the opposite side. And now reaching up and back with this arm, and I'm bending the back arm. And release. Uncross the legs, and we're gonna come into a forward fold. Bring the feet out to hips with distance. Just relax the head and neck, and you're welcome to bend the knees here a little bit if you're a little tight in the hamstrings. But definitely don't lock your knees here. When you lock your knees, that can eventually lead to overstretching of the tendons. So I always have a little bit of give in my legs, or I try to. I'm just swaying here. And now bend your knees deeper and roll up. Circle sweep all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. Let's rock back and forth on those feet a little bit. I really like how yoga helps tone and strengthen the feet and ankles, because weak feet, your feet are the foundation of your body. So you want to develop strength there so you don't have problems elsewhere. And a good way to do that is by practicing yoga or Pilates or ballet or bar. Those are all great exercises to develop good foot strength. Another way that I'm not as fond of is barefoot running, but some people love it. All right, inhale up, exhale, bow down. Inhale, look up, exhale, release. Inhale all the way up, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift, exhale, bow down. Inhale, look up, exhale, release. Inhale all the way up, and this time bring your arms behind your head, and we're just going to kind of go from side to side here a little bit. Kind of like you're a pendulum on a clock. I'm going to bring my feet a little wider for more stability here. All right, now when you twist up and over, let's stretch deeper here. Come back to center, come over to the other side, and now stretch, stretch, stretch deeper. And back to center, opening up here. And now I'm gonna come all the way down. And I'm gonna grab my strap here. And now holding onto this strap, I'm gonna kind of, so that it doesn't clunk a bunch, I'm gonna wrap it around my arms, but you don't need to. I just don't like this metally part kind of getting in my way or flicking me. So I'm gonna lift up and back. And then I'm imagining this is like a lever that's pushing my stomach down, and I'm tightening through the rear as I bring my hands down. Inhale up, exhale down. And I'm kind of resisting here, creating my own resistance, but really pulling in through the belly. And this may not feel like a lot, but we're creating mobility in those shoulders And if you're really pulling that belly in, you're also building strength in the core. Inhale up and exhale. Like a lever, it's pulling down. It's pushing that navel into the spine. And now I'm just gonna open up and kind of move from side to side here, opening up deeper through the shoulder with the strap. And I'm gonna release the strap now. Just set it aside for now. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's work a little bit more with the feet and ankles. So take your right or your left foot and we're gonna circle it around here. And for me, when I do this, it's probably, the camera's not picking it up, but I get a lot of snap, crackle, and popping, and that's okay. You're not hurting anything when your joints make those noises, although it can be an indicator that you might eventually have issues with arthritis. So definitely doing things like this that lubricate the joint are going to be very important for you. In other direction. Let's just shake this foot out. And now we're gonna get the other leg. So just circling around here. Allowing those legs to crackle if they need to. One of the issues that we get that becomes problematic is we get a little bit stiffer as we get older, or we get crunchy or cracky. And then we start to limit our movement, which then leads to decreased mobility. So certainly following the advice of your physician, but the best thing you can do is to move, even when it doesn't feel great to do so. Obviously, if you have an injury that's healing, you want to let that heal. But if it's just stiffness, let's go the other way, or age, we want to keep moving so that we can maintain mobility as much as possible. And that includes even when we don't feel like moving. Shake out the foot. And now bringing the legs a little wider, I'm gonna circle around with the hips here, keeping the knees nice and loose. Other direction. Some people want to wait to exercise until they feel motivated to do so. Even the most dedicated athletes have days where they don't want to work out, and I know that's very true for me. Okay, let's go back again. When you can push past that resistance and just move, maybe even a little bit, you're going to work towards maintaining that exercise habit. You don't have to love exercise to get the benefits of exercise. All right, let's toe heel the feet in. We're going to bend the knees and we're just going to circle those knees here. Circling one way. into a chair pose from here. So circle sweep the arms up, and you can hold them up or bring them to heart center. I'm gonna have them up for now. Feet are close together, and you're gonna, relaxing the toes, bring the weight into your heels. Again, just let those toes grip the mat. Don't lift them up. If you feel pain in your lower back, tip that pelvis forward just a little bit to release any tension. I'm gonna lower down a little deeper, bringing my arms out in front of me. And this is really challenging for me right now. So I'm gonna breathe. And let's just release. I'm gonna bring the legs a little wider, come into a forward fold. Just gonna come into ragdoll here and release any tension. Circle sweep up. I'm gonna bring my feet a little closer together, and we're gonna do the side stretch again. So tick tock from side to side here. And stretch up and over. And back to center, and come over to the other side. And now stretch those arms out. And back to center. I'm gonna stretch up and back here. And release the arms behind me. I'm gonna move my mat around here. This side, and I'm going to step my feet out wider. Toes are pointing out, heels are in a little bit, and we're going to kind of rock from side to side here. Let's come into an extended side angle. So I'm moving this right toe towards the side of the mat, and I'm going to reach up and over here. If you want, you can come a little deeper into this. And you're welcome to use a yoga brick here, or again, to come up if this is just a little bit too much for you. And then I need to correct myself. The arm goes up and over here. Okay, let's come back up. And bringing both toes out, heels in, we're just gonna rock from side to side again. Now I'm going to bring this left toe out to the side and extend up and over, and you can come deeper if you're wanting that, deeper twist. And let me correct myself. Bring the arm up and over here. come back up. Release your arms behind you, interlace, and we're gonna bow down here. Bringing the arms up and over. And now grabbing onto the feet, let's go from side to side here. If it feels better, you can have your hands in front of you here. That gives you more stability. And straighten, let's come into a twist. So bringing the left hand down to the floor, peel up. And release, other side. And release. And now I'm going to walk over towards this left foot. Kind of bringing it around. And I'm going to come into a low lunge here. Okay. I'm going to bring my hand to the inside of that foot, coming into like a lizard pose, and I'm going to circle around here with my hips. Okay, let's go the other direction now. Just circling around. I'm going to come into a dragonfly twist, peeling up. And release the hands down, bringing the back foot down. I'm going to come up into warrior one. Okay, bring the right hand to the right hip, stretch up and back here. And now let's come back to that center position. And we're going to move a little bit again from side to side. Arms up, stretching up and back. I'm going to release my hands behind me, interlace, and come down into a forward fold. And now again, bringing my hands down to the feet or in front of me if that feels better. And I'm going to kind of move from side to side here in a forward fold. Towards this other side of the mat, coming into a low lunge. Move some back so you can see my face. And now bringing that hand to the inside of the foot, we're going to circle around here, kind of a dynamic lizard pose here. Circling forward and back. Other direction. And now bring this hand to the outside of the foot, adjust if you need to, and we're going to peel up into a twist. Hand down, back foot comes back, sweep up, shoulders down for warrior one. And now let's twist back to the front. And we're just gonna reach from side to side, moving the rib cage over the hips. So reaching as far as we can to one side and then to the other. Oh, I forgot to do reverse warrior on that side. Sorry, let me come back into warrior one. Okay. Reaching the left hand to the left hip. Let's stretch up and back. All right, and now let's come back to our floating ribs here. All right, come to center, and we're gonna bring the right toe towards the right side of the mat. Back foot's gonna come at an angle, and we're gonna pull forward with the ribs just like we did before, and then we're gonna make our way into triangle pose. And you can look up, that's the traditional gaze. I actually, it gives me a little bit of vertigo to look up, so I always look to the side. All right, let's come back up. Bring this foot in at an angle, and we're gonna bring the other foot out, and then stretching as far as we can, just like we did when we were floating our rib cage. I'm gonna come to the triangle on the other side. And again, you can look up as is more traditional. I prefer to keep my gaze to the side. Bringing the arms behind us. Let's do this kind of tick-tock motion with wide legs. Stretching up and over. And now interlace the hands and stretch up and over. And coming to center. And up and over and stretch. And coming to center, heels in, toes out. Let's come into our horse stance. And opening up the arms to cactus arms. And I'm gonna open them just a little bit wider to get some more opening in the chest here. Straighten the legs, release the arms behind you, and let's bow forward. And now let's walk the hands around, walking towards that left foot again. Kind of coming into a pyramid and then transitioning to a low lunge. Okay, bringing the hand to the inside of that foot. We're gonna circle around in our lizard here, just like we did before. Other direction. And bring your hand to the outside of that foot, and we're going to peel And release down, back foot comes down, sweep up to warrior one. And then let's reverse it. Stretch up and back. And now let's transition back to center and release the hands behind you and bow down. And walking over to this other side, coming into a low lunge here. Bringing the hands to the inside of that foot. We're gonna circle around. And other direction. Oops, sorry, lost my grip there. And now let's transition to a dragonfly twist. And release down, back foot comes down. Sweep up to warrior one. Gently making your way into it, adjusting as needed. And then left hand to left hip, stretch up and back. And coming back to center, we're gonna toe heel the feet in, keeping the toes out. My heels are just a little bit wider than my shoulders here. And I'm gonna drop down into a squat and then lift. Bringing the hands behind, drop and lift. I'm gonna come a little bit wider here. Stay here for a moment, and we're gonna tick-tock over to this side, and then stretch up and over. And come back to center, tick-tock over to the other side, and stretch up and over, keeping those knees bent. And come back to center. And stretch, reach the arms out, and let's go from side to side again. Okay, let's try our triangle now. Pointing to the right side first, bring the left foot back at an angle. Right foot towards the right side of the mat, and reach forward as far as you can and then down. And you don't want the arm to reach all the way back. The finger should be pointing towards the ceiling. Both toes towards the front of the mat, and we're gonna reach from side to side again. All right, let's bring the left toe over to the left side of the mat, pointing towards the front of the mat. Back heels pointed towards the back of the mat. We're gonna reach forward and then down. And it's okay if you're all the way up here, as long as that chest is nice and open. That's more important than reaching further down. let's come back up. I'm gonna bring the feet in and I'm gonna make my way all the way down into garland pose or goddess pose. So gently coming down, we're gonna use this as our hip opener. If this is not comfortable, you can set down and come into bound ankle pose instead. But I love to practice sitting in this position because from sitting in chairs, we tend to lose the mobility in our hips and the ability to sit like this. So it's uncomfortable at first, but the more you practice squatting like this, eventually it becomes very comfortable to be like this. But again, you can practice creating that mobility by sitting in bound ankle pose if this is agonizing for you. Watch whatever stories you tell yourself during yoga. Hopefully you aren't considering your body deficient in some way because it doesn't necessarily move the way you want it to. Everybody has limitations in their bodies and every body tells a story. And bodies are different sizes and shapes. And rather than wanting to be something else, you're gonna have the best connection if you accept where you're at. Find love for your body. Even if there's more to love than you anticipated. There's nothing inherently unhealthy about carrying some extra weight as long as you are living a healthy lifestyle, they found. So it's okay for bodies to come in different shapes and sizes. What matters is that you're taking those steps towards health. Because I've seen larger yogis move with incredible grace and just be beautiful in those bodies and the expression in those bodies. So even though we live in a very fat-phobic society, I would like you to recognize and appreciate wherever you're at. Okay, let's release down. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a windshield wiper move here. And now I'm gonna turn around. Actually, you can turn around and come onto your back. I'm gonna turn the lights down and do the same. And reach up. let's just bring one knee to our chest, hugging that knee to the chest, and I'm going to kind of circle it around here a little bit. Now I'm going to grab my strap. And this is really better done with a strap than it is grabbing onto the foot, even if you're able to, because we want to keep that spine on the ground, and we're just going to kind of stretch here from side to side. I'm going to circle this leg around. And for me, this really helps release pressure and tension on the discs in my lower back. Other direction. And let's now extend this leg, and we're going to hug the other knee towards us and circle here. And other direction. And now taking that strap again. Make a little loop with it. And just kind of pull the leg from side to side first. Even lifting my hips up a little off the mat. And now I'm going to circle this leg around. And a lot of us have really tight low backs and hips, and so this is really a good way to release that. And now other direction. And I'm going to release the strap and set it aside. I'm going to come up to a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and your thumbs to forehead center. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day.